Greetings, my loyal subjects, it's your King Crappie here to remind you that royal life wasn't all crowns and fivesomes. Some poor souls had jobs dirtier than your friend's browser history. Today we're diving into the top 10 worst royal jobs in history, where you'd start the day polishing shields and end it polishing, the royal sword. These weren't careers, they were punishments with paychecks, so grab your sponge, your shame and your safe word, because if you think your boss is a pain in the ass, wait till you hear about the ones who literally had to kiss it. Number 10. The Royal Leech Collector. Your job description is to strip down, wade into a swamp and let nature suck you dry. Literally. You stand there in your medieval birthday suit while slimy little vampires latch onto your thighs like gold diggers on payday. Each leech gets bottled for the king's medical needs, while you leave looking like a used juice box. By the time you crawl back to court, you're pale, dizzy and covered in more hickeys than the Queen's favourite knight. The royal doctor calls you essential to science. Yeah, because nothing screams medical breakthrough like being drained by blood-horny worms. But hey, at least you didn't have to wash the royal stains afterward. Number 9. The Royal Washerwoman, the Queen's dirty laundry service. You spend your days elbow deep in royal sheets, scrubbing out evidence of affairs, food fights and whatever midnight yoga the King and Queen got up to. Every stain tells a story and none of them are G-rated. You pray that brown spot is wine, that white stain is milk, and that smell is historical. Your hands are wrinkled, your back's broken, and the Queen's undergarments could qualify as biological weapons. Burn a corset and you're a witch, clean it too well and you're the next mistress. Still, you're luckier than the next poor bastard because at least you didn't have to make the nobles laugh while they played grab-ass with their dinner knives. Number 8. The Court Dwarf, the human mascot. You're the royal party favour, short, shiny and constantly poked. The nobles treat you like a pet that tells jokes, feeding you wine, smacking your butt and calling it entertainment. I'm pretty sure Tyrion Lannister would have slayed them from the bottom up. You're expected to sing, dance, juggle and occasionally get tossed like that bonny blue lady. Sure, a few dwarfs made it big, but most just ended up as a chew toy for drunk lords who thought small talk meant picking you up. You're not a guest at the feast, you are the feast, for their egos. And if you think that's degrading, at least your ashes will smell better than the royal kitchen, where the next poor fool's career went up in smoke. Number 7. The Royal Food Taster, the gourmet dead man walking. So you're the Royal Food Taster, the King's personal crash test dummy for dinner. Your job is to eat whatever's on his plate first and pray it's just spicy, not deadly. During Elizabeth I's reign, one poor guy fainted from a stew so hot the guards thought he'd been poisoned. Nope, it was just bad foreplay from the chef. You chew every meal with the enthusiasm of a hostage on a cooking show. Does it taste funny? Someone asks. You smile through numb lips and mutter, bit tangy. Next minute, you're face down in the venison. Sometimes you'd survive for years. Sometimes the king would switch chefs and forget to warn you. You'd think dying for dessert would be romantic. It's not. Especially when your boss keeps ordering suspicious mushroom soup. And if you think that's risky, the next guy's job was to get beaten for the prince's mistakes. Number 6. The Whipping Boy, the prince's human punching bag. So you're the prince's whipping boy. You grow up with the royal brat, eat with him, play with him, maybe even share a tutor. Sounds fun till His Royal Highness forgets his Latin and your bottom becomes a public drum solo. Prince Edward VI had one too. The kid got whipped so often his back looked bloodier than Game of Thrones' deadly dinner. You can't fight back either unless you're into headless fashion trends. He farts near the Queen, you get smacked for it. He cheats at chess, you're crying in 4K. By Friday your cheeks look like royal wax seals, red, swollen and very well used. At least you get sympathy from the servants. The next guy didn't even get that, just the king's leftovers, straight from the source. Number 5. The Royal Physician. You're the royal doctor, which basically means you're just guessing in Latin. The king coughs and you recommend hot wine and prayer. The queen faints and you blame horny ghosts. You bleed them, burn herbs and call it balancing the humours, which is medieval for I have no clue. King Charles II's doctors literally rubbed cow poop on him while draining half his blood and then wondered why he died. You're stroking leeches like they're love toys, rubbing ointments in places no man should touch, and calling it medicine. The Queen faints half naked, and you're just standing there trying not to get accidentally executed for staring too long. Still, at least you weren't the poor bastard working with the King's poor oral hygiene. Number 4, the Royal Dentist, the original tooth fairy of pain. You're the Royal Dentist, part drunk, part torturer, full disaster. You show up with rusty pliers, a prayer, and a half-empty bottle of wine for anaesthesia. Catherine the Great once had her dentist pull the wrong tooth, and she nearly used him as a coat rack. The king screams like he's in labour, and you just smile through the blood like, "Open wide, your majesty." You yank, twist, and hope he doesn't bite your fingers off, or worse, make you use something else to plug the hole. And speaking of sticking things where they don't belong, the next job involved cleaning up some pretty nasty stuff. Number 3, the necessary woman, the royal toilet technician. You're the palace's original plumber with benefits, the royal poop whisperer. Your job is to haul buckets of royal regret through marble halls while nobles pretend their noses don't work. Bridget Holmes, the real MVP of this gig, scrubbed royal thrones for 5 monarchs and somehow lived to 100. Probably built up immunity by sniffing sin daily. Catherine Howard's ladies once had to empty her chamber pot during court. Talk about staying close to power and everything else. One wrong step and you're baptised in royal leftovers. Still, at least you were above ground, because the next guy crawled under it, chasing things hairier than the king's mistress. Number 2, the rat catcher, the original pest control with a death wish. You're crawling through royal dungeons with nothing but a stick, a sack, and a death wish, the palace's original pest control hottie. The Tudors actually hired rat takers, guys paid in pennies and rabies. You smell like fish, sweat, and expired cheese, but hey, some ladies love a man who knows how to handle something small and squeaky. You're down there swinging at rats, squealing louder than the Queen on honeymoon night, and praying the next nibble isn't somewhere personal. Miss one nest and the fleas start a kingdom of their own. And speaking of filthy stuff, our next royal gig had plenty of that, followed by wiping after. Number 1, the Groom of the Stool, the ultimate butt of the joke. Ah yes, back to where it all began, the royal booty call. You're the king's most trusted aide, his closest confidant, and his personal butt valet. Henry VIII's Groom of the Stool held more power than most dukes and handled more cheeks too. You're chatting politics while polishing the royal jewels, not the shiny ones, the dangly ones. Miss a spot and it's treason by hygiene, but wipe right and you're basically knighted. You know his diet, his secrets, and every royal movement, both political and bowel. Power, privilege and poop, the holy trinity of every successful monarchy. And there you have it, my filthy followers, 10 royal jobs that prove history wasn't glamorous, it was gross. So tell me in the comments which one you would never take, even for a castle and free wine. And remember, subscribe to Crappy Crowns or I'll personally assign you to chamber pot duty. That's an order from your King Crappy.